Sup, fucker?
How the hell are you, bud?
How the hell are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in town today, in the big city. Went to the big city today, and was looking for some Halloween shit since it is the season for it. You know.
'Tis the season.
Yeah.
The better season.
Old Spooktober. Halloween time.
This is Halloween.
Yeah, one of my favorite times of year, really.
Same.
I don't know if it's... Well, several factors. The weather, one. It's not fucking blazing hot and it's not cold as balls, so...
Yeah.
And then two, I just love Halloween.
I think we all love Halloween as Americans
Yeah.
because of the tradition behind it.
Yeah.
The trick-or-treating, the costumes, the haunted houses, all that good stuff.
Right.
That's why I feel like it merits a conversation.
It does.
And not with people who hate Halloween, because I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, there's some weirdos out there that don't like candy. I don't know. Don't like... Well, the whole history behind it, comes into play. So there are groups of people that don't practice Halloween because they think it's...
It's a dirty pagan holiday.
Yeah, devil worship.
That's the dumbest shit.
Which is... I don't know. More candy for me, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think the people who probably hate Halloween the most are the pedos who have to put up a sign in their yard. They're like, I can't even answer the door. This is bullshit.
I think they would love it. They just sit on the front porch, like rocking in a rocking chair. Fucking psycho. Mrs. Bates. Probably put on a wig too and a dress and just rock in their rocking chair.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Oh, that is scary. Another thing to be scared of, I guess.
Yeah, and that's a thing that in this day and age I don't like about Halloween. Because when we were kids, you'd go trick-or-treating and it was like your parents could stay home.
Yeah.
You could just go around the neighborhood and do your thing. Now it's like, I won't let my kids go on their own. There's too many sickos out there.
Yeah. And that was one thing that I was thinking of today, like, growing up in the time that we did, in the era that we did, the era of Halloween greatness, there was no such thing as trunk or treat.
No.
Like, you went out and earned that fucking candy, man. You had to, but I remember going out trick-or-treating and we'd be out until, like, midnight.
Yeah.
And it was totally acceptable.
Yeah, because you'd look like 3 blocks down, like, there's one light on, let's go!
Yeah, and you just run down there, knock on the door, and they come out like, what the fuck are you still doing out here? But they give you candy.
Usually they give you the rest.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I forgot to turn off my light. Here, dump the shit into your bag, shut your light off.
Yeah. Now it's like my neighborhood is pretty good. They go hard on Halloween. Like, there's hundreds of not thousands of kids just walking around, trick-or-treating. But our old house up in Mill Creek, we'd have maybe 1 or 2 kids all night. And so we'd just be like, here, just loading them up with shit. But over here we buy we usually go through like 6 of those big ass bags of candies. So like probably 1,000 pieces of candy.
Jesus.
But I still just like throw in like handfuls of candy to the
kid. I never
That's
understood.
Probably my fault.
I never understood those people who are like, here's one.
Yeah. Here's one dumb sucker. Savor that. Take 1 lick a day, you'll have it till Christmas.
And then I'll give you 1 candy cane.
Yeah.
That better last you till
Easter.
Fucking bitch.
But yeah, so I took my kids out today because we were going to see a scary movie. That's what we planned to do, but the movies didn't start until later on tonight, and I didn't want to be out all night. So we're like, oh, well, let's just go to the Halloween store and look at some costumes and stuff. And went in there, and it's like, they have a cool decorations and shit, and a lot of stuff that we didn't have as kids growing up. You'd go to a store that has Halloween costumes, and they'd have like masks and a few things that might like be relevant to like if you wanted to be like Spider-Man, I guess, or like a certain one thing, or like a cape for if you wanted to be Dracula or whatever. But for the most part, the costumes were like mostly homemade costumes, and people had maybe a better imagination about things than they do now. I don't know.
I think people just got crafty.
Yeah.
Because you remember those costumes in like the late 80s, early 90s, where it was always just like a plastic suit
yeah.
and then like just a face mask, not even like a full mask.
It was like a plastic apron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if it was
what
like...
are you, the Hulk? You look like a butcher.
But it wouldn't even say the Hulk. It'd be like green, and it would say the letters HULK on it or something. Yeah. Or if you were Batman, it would have like the bat symbol and then say Batman on the side. Yeah. That was for all those old people who were like, who are you supposed to be?
Batman. No, but yeah, I remember one year my mom sewed me a whole outfit, and I was a ninja, and that was pretty tight. And like we went to the store and bought a ninja sword, which I used for like 3 years after that, just practicing my ninjutsu. But
I could see you in the backyard.
I'm just glad there was no cell phones back then. I'd be an internet sensation, more so than I am now. But yeah.
Well, that's just until the TV career kicks off with Spencer Sidekick and Swamp Cops.
What else we got? Fucking so many projects.
Morons of Skinwalker Ranch.
Morons of Skinwalker Ranch.
We just got a whole list. Like, we might as well just quit our jobs.
Yeah. Plus our like voice acting careers, overdubbing movies. Man, there's so many things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was always like, what are you going to be for Halloween? Maybe I'll be a football player. Mm-hmm. And then you just wear an old jersey, and then like halfway through the day, you like go to school dressed as a football player, and you get home and you're like, yeah, this is dumb. I'm going to be a dead football player.
That was always the go-to. If you wore a costume of something that wasn't like native to you, this is so stupid. Zombie.
Yeah.
Zombie football player.
I'm going to be a Hawaiian, but a fucking dead Hawaiian. That's another thing, like... So I dressed up one year as a terrorist. So I went to the DI, and I got like one of those, it's like a Muslim, it's like a long ass shirt that they wear, and then like an army style jacket, and then wore this beanie that kind of looked like a turban kind of thing, and then like had a fake gun, and then strapped some black cat fireworks around my neck. And so we went to this party, and like people were like, dude, that's so racist. And I was like, dude, people dress up as Mexicans, Hawaiians, like all the time. It's not racist, it's just playing on stereotypes.
I think it's funny, and I'm really hoping this wasn't that long ago.
I think it was like 2 years after 9/11. It was about
extra credit. That's dope.
2005, maybe.
The sensitivity back then was different.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, it's actually, you could get away with it then. You probably couldn't now.
Yeah. I dressed up as Mr. T one year, and
did you do the full mohawk and everything?
Well, I got a bald cap and put it on, like, cut out the spot.
Oh,
and
let your hair come through.
My hair through.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then painted my face black because Mr. T's black, and then just got a bunch of gold chains and stuff like that. And I couldn't do that now.
No.
It'd be racist.
Even though Mr. T would probably be like, That's tight.
Yeah. I pity that fool that don't know who Mr. T is.
I pity that fool who doesn't dress like Mr. T.
Yeah, and I was walking around pitying all types of fools all night long. It was dope.
That's a really good idea for a costume. I like that.
Yeah.
I think the best costumes I ever did were so one year we went as characters from Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
So I made the mask for Adam with like the hand poking
Yeah.
through and shit, and the eyes on the finger ball or the finger
Eyeballs.
eyeballs on the fingers.
Yeah.
You know what I meant. And then my ex was Barbara. I made her the mask. You know, the thing with the
How did you
eyeballs
make
in
the
the mouth.
masks?
So I used wire hangers to make a frame
Oh.
for the masks, and then I used different like one of them was a hat that I used to like mount it to. So when it went on, it was just like wearing a hat with a bunch of shit strapped to it.
Yeah.
And then the Barbara mask, I used an airsoft mask because it's like black metal mesh. So it's like she could see through the mouth of it instead of through where the eyeballs should be because they're way up here.
Yeah.
And then Avery was dressed as Beetlejuice and Aislinn was dressed as Lydia. It was like
That's cute.
great costume.
Yeah.
And then one year we all went as, well, not all of us, but I was Maui from Moana, but when he's like halfway stuck into the shark body. And then my ex was Moana, and my daughter, who was only like 2 at the time, she was Pua. So we got her a little costume and put some ears on it,
Cute.
put some spots. It was pretty adorable.
Yeah. Yeah, I would really like to do more like group costumes with my family, but everybody has their own things they want to be. Well, I wanted to be last year. I wanted to be Rex Kwando.
Nobody wants a roundhouse kick to the face while I'm
Forget
wearing these
about
bad guys.
And so I was like, dude, told Kara she should be Kip. And then Izzy could be Napoleon. And then like one of the twins could be Deb and the other one could be Pedro. I'm like, that's dumb. Nobody's going to know who we are. Like, you guys are lame.
Yeah, I'm going to need you guys
roundhouse
to
kick you in the face.
Then I'm going to go home to Darla.
People think I'm a loser because I go home to Darla? Forget about it. Or Starla.
Starla, that's it. You know, I actually have a remedy for that. I've been thinking about this for a long time. So my birthday is July 4th, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
As an adult, I've never had a birthday party.
Really?
Because it's July 4th, everybody's got family time. Nobody ever thinks about that when your birthday is like a big national holiday. So I'd been thinking for a while, you know what I'd like to do is a Halloween party for my birthday. Halloween in July.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Well,
Let's
plus
do it.
you can do way more with a costume because if you're
This is not freezing cold outside.
exactly
Yeah.
if you're gonna wear something sleeveless or shirtless or whatever, like it's cool.
Yeah.
It's hot outside.
I think we should do it.
I think we should plan on it.
Last year, I know we were talking about having a Halloween party where everybody dresses up like somebody else from work.
Who would you dress as?
I would dress as Randy. Get some Skechers and some jean shorts, a medium shirt, and just be like, "It's time to go home yet?"
Oh man, I'd have to think about it, but my immediate response was, "I'm going to Stuvie." Big old man bun.
I was like, somebody dress up like Stuvie. Stuvie probably dress up like Kroger. I was going to dress like Randy. Randy probably wouldn't show up. But yeah, it'd be fun.
If he did, there'd just be 2 Randys.
Yeah.
Just both of you. Oh, ready to fucking go home.
Just standing there drinking a Bud Light. Anytime a girl walks by.
That was so perfect. I wish I had like a video of Randy doing that so I could side by side that shit.
Yeah. But yeah, Halloween in July would be pretty fun.
I think we should plan on it. Like, I'm pretty sure It landed on our 3 nights, so right before our 3-day weekend, and it was Wednesday. So this year it'll be on Thursday, so we could do it on the weekend.
Yeah.
Full costume party.
Summerween.
I dig it. Let's do it.
That's trademarked. Nobody try to
Summerween.
steal that. Summerween.
This is licensed property. It's on YouTube. Belongs to me.
Yep, we can start selling Summerween costumes. You know, so I was looking at, like... So we were at the Halloween store, and we were looking at costumes, and they're fucking expensive, man. Like, that's part of the thing, too, is, like, we used to DIY all of our costumes, and it was like, you go to the store and buy one or two things, and it's like $7 for your whole costume. Like,
Yeah.
Fake sword, some fake blood, maybe. Face paint. And now you go there and it's like to get the whole thing, you buy the costume that's like $50, and then you got to buy like a hat or like accessories to go with it, another like $30. It's like $80 for the thing you're gonna wear for 3 hours one night of the year. It's pretty ridiculous. So I was just curious, and I just looked up like how much people spend on Halloween costumes, and I guess that behind Christmas, it's one of the biggest money profiting holidays in the U.S.
Well, it kind of makes sense. I mean, you can charge 200% on top of MSRP for any item before Halloween, and then after Halloween, everything's on sale.
Yeah.
You go to Spirit Halloween on November 1st, you can buy 2 years worth of decorations for like $300.
Right.
I know, because I've done it several times. But and that's my plan this year too. Is I'm going to go there the day after Halloween and just load up so I can kind of restock everything that I lost. But the costumes, I used to buy a lot of the costumes when they went on sale the next day, because it was like, for my daughter, she loved to play dress up.
Yeah.
So you go into Walmart or whatever, and they have dress up costumes for all these different characters, and it's like you buy 15 of them, and it's like $40.
Right.
So it was totally worth it. But yeah, I can see it. I mean, candy, overpriced costumes, decorations. Like, you look at some of those animatronic decorations now, and they're like $400.
Yeah, Stitch tells me about him. His whole like front yard is filled with like those big like skeletons and werewolves and those like 12-foot tall skeletons.
I could see it. There's only 2 times out of the year where Stitch is really alive. Once is Halloween. The other time is at a Breaking Benjamin concert.
Depends on who's got the pouch full of booze, I guess. But yeah, it was like, so I looked it up, and it was like $12.2 billion that people spent last year on just Halloween items, which is crazy. But like, I mean, Halloween's my favorite holiday, so I end up spending some money. I usually, like, lately, past couple of years, like, I'll plan to dress up, and then I just run out of time, and then since COVID, like, we used to have a Halloween party with my family, like, every year, like, somebody would host, and we'd go to their house, and but since COVID, and now the kids are getting a little bit older, so they want to go hang out with their friends and stuff, and so I usually just sit on the porch and hand out candy to the kids, and then like hand out beer to the parents that want it. Like, and but usually if I dress up, then the kids are too afraid to come up and take candy from me, because I just sit on the porch and just hang out. And then so the kids, there'll be like 15 kids just standing at the bottom of the stairs. Like last year, I was a Cheshire cat, and I just had this like striped sweater on. And then it was like a papier-mâché, almost cat mask. And that was it. And they were too afraid to come up and get candy.
See, that's the thing, too. Generational difference. Versus when we were kids, if somebody was just dressed up, you didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Until you went up to a porch and it had like a scarecrow in a rocking chair holding the bowl perfectly still. And you're like, no, I know.
So I decorate the porch, and it's kind of like, so I hang like that, like the black plastic we use for the slip and slides. So I have it like shredded up, and so it's like hanging down, and I light it kind of spooky, and then I have the fog machine up there, and I have
That's dope.
a speaker out there that's playing like Halloween ambiance music, and then like there's like a scary clown that hangs in the front window. So it's a little bit spooky vibe, but I'm just a big old cat trying to give you some candy up there. Come on up, kids.
So we're having summerween here.
We could do that.
Yeah. I just like the part that says ween.
Yeah.
She started jerking my ween.
She started jerking my summer ween.
If you haven't seen that video of man escapes female Sasquatch, go watch that. You're in for a treat.
Yeah. What am I supposed to do?
And I'm not going to lie, I busted a nut. That whole video, like, I had to watch it like 10 times because I was crying because I was laughing so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up? You guys go to the haunted houses?
Usually we'll try to go to one or two every year. We took the twins one year when they were like probably 5 years ago, so they were like 9, and it was too much for them. Like, they love scary shit. They watch scary movies all the time. They love Halloween. So we're like, oh, we'll take them to Nightmare on 13th. And Kamea, one of the twins, was so scared that she literally clawed her eyes out. So she had just gone to a friend's birthday party. And for the party, they did, like, manicures. Mm-hmm. And all gave each other fake nails. And, of course, she's like, oh, it's Halloween. It's Halloween's coming up. And so she got these long, pointy fingernails with just, like, black fingernails. Mm-hmm. Like, kind of like a witch's fingernails or something. But, like, we go into the haunted house. We go maybe, like, 50 feet in, and the first person, like, jumps out and scares us. And she tries to go like this and cover her eyes and just poke her eyes with her fake nails, and couldn't see. And we literally had to like carry her, and so Kara was carrying her, and I was like dragging the other one through because she was like Scooby-Dooing her feet. So they don't like to go to them for some reason anymore.
For some reason,
yeah, for some reason
unknown.
I don't know why. But Izzy likes them, and so we usually like take her to whichever one she wants to go check out for the season. So.
Did you like him as a kid?
I did. I think the first time I went to one, I was probably 12. And, yeah, I was hooked. Like, I love going to them.
Yeah.
You?
No, I was kind of a sissy when I was a kid. I was scared of everything.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I'm the polar opposite now. I'm like, ooh, haunted house, let's go. Skydiving? Absolutely. Where I'm like addicted to it now. But as an adult here in Utah, you have so many options for haunted houses. And I love that because living in Missouri, it's like, forget about it. You got to drive 2.5 hours to get to one. It's not worth it. Yeah. It's like you'll have population centers like Kansas City, Independence, St. Joe, blah, blah, blah. And usually they'll have like a small one that's run by one person or whatever. But to get to like a good one, you have to go all the way to the city. And it's like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But as an adult, man, I love them so much. Even the ones that you go to that you've been to before and they haven't changed yet, you're like, it's still great.
Yeah.
What's your favorite one?
I would say probably, even though we went last year or like 2 years ago and it wasn't super great, I think it was just the timing that we went to, the Haunted Forest in American Fork.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Just because it's like, there's one section where you go through the Haunted Mansion, and then after that, then you go out into the woods. And there's like dugout things where you kind of go underground, like underground tunnels and stuff like that. But the ambiance just being in a forest, and It seems really spread out, so
Yeah.
I really like that one. Nightmare on 13th, of course, is awesome. They have like, I think they put the most money into their like animatronic shit.
Yeah.
Fear Factory's good. Yeah, I like. The only one that I haven't been to is that Castle of Chaos in Taylorsville. I don't know if it's even still there.
I don't know if it's still there. I would assume so. I've played airsoft in there. It's kind of a small, cramped building.
Is it?
Like, it's cool, but I don't think it's worth the admission price. Because, you know, you got to pay $30 or whatever to get in there, and it takes you 10 minutes to walk through because it's so small.
Yeah.
And I'm not hating on them. I mean, it's still a good show and everything, but it's like, I think the ticket price should be closer to 20.
Yeah.
I would put Nightmare on 13th consistently second.
Yeah.
And then first and third, switch between Fear Factory and the Haunted Forest.
Yeah.
Because Fear Factory is cool because of all the different levels and everything that you go through. And I used to play airsoft there too. That's a blast. Because you have so many different...
Yeah, mezzanines and shit.
Yeah, and staircases and slides and shit like that. Plus the different like areas. You have like the Spooky Mansion area, then the Clown area, and then outside and so on and so forth. Plus, I think Fear Factory gives a little bit more of an experience because you can still go do the zip line or the tower drop, whatever. I think they still do that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I've done all that stuff, and it's great. What I do like about the Haunted Forest is, like you said, you go through the mansion part, and then you go get in line to go through to the forest, and while you're in line, you're still entertained.
Right.
There's people in costumes walking around, you know, messing with everybody, and there's like the big screen that shows music videos or clips from horror movies, stuff like that, to where it's like, it's a full experience.
Yeah.
I just wish they would all serve beer.
Yeah, hottie toddies or something.
Something.
Buttered rum.
Ooh.
Hot buttered rum.
The state would ream the shit out of you on a liquor license for that.
Oh, yeah. Plus, you'd probably have people, like, puking in the fucking... But that adds to the ambiance.
Maybe they're so scared they puke.
Yeah. There used to be a haunted house in... I want to say it was Taylorsville. It might have been farther out, like the South Jordan area, called Alien Encounters, back in like the 90s, and that was a really good one too. And but it was a little bit cheaper. I think it was like $15 or something at the time, when most of the other ones were like $23 a person. Now they're like $30, $35, whatever they are now. But that was a really good one. It kind of was a mixture of like just all different types of paranormal shit.
Yeah.
Like aliens and...
One of my favorite haunted house attractions I've ever seen, and I've never seen anybody else do it, and it was I think it was like an offshoot of the Haunted Forest or something. It was up in Ogden. Anyway, you walked into this big, long room. It's like a barn or something. Probably 75, 80 feet long and, I don't know, 20, 25 feet wide. And it's just these planks that you walk on so everybody stays in like a single file line. And you look around and there's all these Jason masks just hanging from the ceiling. And there's one dude walking around as Jason. And then people get up to the door, to the exit, and they shut that door. And then they shut the entrance door. And then this like lightning effect comes on, and all the masks start glowing. And it's black in there, you know, it's dark. And then you see the one dude in the Jason mask start moving around because they're all glow in the dark.
Yeah.
You're like, that's dope.
Yeah. So there used to be one right on State Street where that big China market is now.
Oh, yeah.
The Rocky Point haunted house. And for, like, I think it was like 10 years in a row, it was like voted one of the best haunted houses in America. But it was
really?
Really good. And they would do... so, like, you'd be walking inline, so you're like inline outside, and then you go inside, and then you're inline still, like walking up to the entrance of the haunted house, which was decorated as, I want to say it was the front door of Nightmare on Elm Street, the Freddy Krueger house.
Oh, okay.
And so, like, as you're walking up, there's like you're walking through a cemetery, and then like the Thriller music would start playing, and then like dancers would come out and do like the whole Thriller dance.
Oh, that's
as
awesome.
You're walking. So you're like walking in line, but like you're watching the show, like the zombies dancing. So it was super cool, really cool.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I always get excited for this time of year so that we can go and do those things now with our kids getting older, and it's just getting pretty expensive to do that. Like, try to take 5 people to go.
Oh, yeah. I haven't been to one in a while. Last one I went to was Fear Factory, and it was kind of revamped because it had a new owner, and they updated a lot of stuff, and it was really cool. But it was like I can't remember what they called it, but basically you had a glow-in-the-dark snap stick to guide your way through. Blackout is what they called it. It was like Wednesday night or whatever. But yeah, it was really cool because you're just like walking around.
That's cool.
And then somebody jumps out at you.
Yeah, that's cool.
Plus, they were starting to do like free pictures too. You know, when you go in and they'll take your picture with a creature or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were free with admission, which made the cost a little bit more bearable because you got a photo at the end.
Right.
Well, actually, it was 2. You got like one regular photo and then one where you're supposed to pretend to be scared.
Yeah.
So that's added value. So
something to remember the experience.
Yeah, a little commemoration. You know, it's nice. I had a question in mind, just forgot it.
Here's a question: what is your? So we've talked about scary movies and stuff like that. Out of all the movie monsters, what do you personally? Which one do you find the most scary?
So are we talking overall or just like the classic Universal monsters?
Overall.
That's a good one. I gotta go with Dracula.
Yeah?
Just because, well, let me preface this by saying, like, every kind of generation has their Dracula, right?
Yeah.
So you had, like, the Bela Lugosi era, you had Christopher Lee as Dracula, you had Gary Oldman, you know, so on and so forth. Whereas we kind of grew up in that Gary Oldman one, where you had that 93 movie Dracula, which was such a classic.
Yeah.
Where it was like he was charming and menacing at the same time, where he could either talk the pants off of you or he would just tear you into pieces.
Yeah.
So he was always a little bit more scary to me because he was also much more human.
Yeah.
Because you could kind of believe that a person could do what he did in a way. I mean, granted, not having all the powers and shit, but just that charm and allure that he had was kind of scary. What's yours?
I have to go classic 80s, dude. Freddy Krueger. Even though he's my favorite villain, I think he's probably the most scary.
Yeah.
Just because he seems to have... I mean, the whole premise of him attacking you is going to be inside of a dream, and dreams don't make sense, and so he can pop out of anywhere at any time. Like, as opposed to like the other 80s movie monster people like Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers, where it's, you know, actual, like, you're in the physical world.
Yeah.
I mean, even though if you're running as fast as you can, he's still just walking and catches up to you somehow.
Have you seen those clips where it's like Michael Myers when nobody's looking?
Yeah. So yeah, I would say Freddy Krueger just because he has in a dream state, he has the capability of like being anywhere and everywhere.
I agree, and he's definitely second on my list because of that. Like, you're asleep, you're in a dream, it's inescapable at that point, and dreams aren't limited by laws of gravity or anything like that. He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Right. So yeah, I did write down a list of all the classic Universal monsters. Well, not all of them, but like the main characters that you would see. As we were kids, like you would see people dressed up like these things, and so it's Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon, the Mummy, and I didn't know this was a movie monster. The Hunchback of Notre Dame is considered a movie monster.
Yeah, technically.
Which is like Quasimodo was just deformed man. It's like, he's ugly.
Monster.
Fucking monster.
Do you know who else technically classifies as a Universal movie monster? Hellboy.
Really?
Made by Universal.
True. That's true. I think the prosthetics for Hellboy probably limits the people that dress up as Hellboy. Oh, maybe not now. I mean, you see people dressing up. You ever watch videos of people making like cosplay?
All the time.
Yeah.
It's a weird addiction. Because it's people get so creative.
Yeah.
What's that one that I always watch is Odin Makes. He's just like a middle-aged dude in his garage, and he just makes random shit. Which, speaking of that and Hellboy, is one year my stepson at the time wanted to be Hellboy. And I was like, I have no idea how to make the hand, So his mom got him like this cowl thing that just covered the top of his head, and it just had to be like glued on kind of, and it covered his hair and painted his face red and all that, and I had to figure out the hand. So I watched an Odin Makes video where he made the right hand of Doom, and I was like, I'm just going to do that. And it was actually not bad. Like I made it in one night, but
yeah,
it came out cool, and it even had, I put some rings and cables and shit inside so you can articulate the fingers. It didn't work very well, but
I would have been super ghetto and just went to the DI and bought a hockey glove.
Here you go, buddy.
Spray painted it red. You get the idea.
You know what we're talking about. Just glue a cigar between the fingers. It's fine.
Sometimes I think that like the more ghetto it is, the better the costume is.
It's definitely more appreciated when it's like that. When it's like, oh, I found this one thing and it kind of fits, kind of not, but I'm going to make it work.
Yeah.
And you see it as another person. You're like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
A big old hockey glove. Genius.
I was like when I dressed up as Mr. T, my gold chains were like, remember those, like back in the 70s and 80s, they would have like a lamp that hangs on the ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
And it has like a big gold chain that goes with it.
And it has the wire.
Yeah, the wire. Yeah. That was the gold chains.
Genius.
I just wrapped them up like that and put a lock on it.
Hey, you know what? Mr. T probably did the same.
Probably. I think he was just spray painting like bike chains gold. I mean, that's what I'd do. I wouldn't buy actual gold chains that big.
So if you had like a dream costume to make, what would it be?
I don't know. Maybe Fat RoboCop? With the working like slinging thing that comes out. Be like an actual RoboCop, like just like sitting there eating robot donuts.
No, it's that paste from the movie where they had like the machine that would disperse the paste from the organics.
Yeah.
So it's just you eating all this paste all the time.
Stuff. Well, yeah, he'd be like the beat down cops that you see in like a lot of movies, like just the disgruntled fucking old fat cops.
I think we just figured out the Halloween special for Swamp Cops. You just show up on scene, you're doing the articulated robot walk.
Where can I sit down?
Oh my god, that's actually Pretty cool costume, though. When you see people pull it off in cosplay, you're like, God damn, that looks cool.
Yeah.
And then you see some that don't quite stick the landing, and you're like, yeah, it took a lot of effort, and it's cool, but I definitely know you're wearing a costume.
Yeah. They just have, like, fender pieces and shit they took off their broken down car. And
Well, it's all like foam and shit, so when they move, the foam goes...
Yeah.
I think I would want to do, like, a crazy demon or something with, like, a big old wingspan and glowing eyes or something like that. Something that would, like, take me all year to make.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the most elaborate that I ever got with making a costume was we went to... So we used to have Halloween parties. Well, my brother would have them, him and his wife, and I lived with them, and then we lived in this 2-bedroom apartment, and they'd have these parties. It was just like, so it was like a bottom floor apartment, 2 bedrooms, maybe like 1,300 square feet, maybe at most, and there'd be like 250 people at the
Jesus.
party, like. The whole house is just packed full of people, and then like people spilling out into the vestibule, out into the parking lot, just like packed full of people. And so it got too big for our apartment, and so they started having it at one of their friends owned a bar, and so he started hosting it, and so we'd have this huge Halloween party every year. And so one year I was like, I want to be a zombie, and it was like when Walking Dead was at its peak, like maybe 2nd or 3rd season. And so I like committed to like I was gonna have one arm chopped off, and so it was like had a piece of a foam arm that was there, painted red. My shirt was all cut up, and then I got 2 bald caps, put one down, and then put like a piece of white plastic under it, and then put the other one on top, but cut it open so it was flopping open.
Nice.
So you could see like the white skull part of my head.
Mm-hmm.
And that was fun, but I had to walk around with one fucking arm all night long.
Yeah, like taking a shit was awkward.
I was like, I'm gonna go right hand, because if I gotta do this pooping thing, I'm never gonna wipe right with my left.
Well, I can always splash. You couldn't make it to the bathroom anyways. Fucking 250 people in there.
Yeah.
You're just like...
Yeah. We used to do this thing, too, that was pretty fun. At the parties, we would blow up, like, 50 to 100 balloons. And in each balloon, we would put a message inside the balloon. So, like, if you were walking around the party and you actually stepped on a balloon and popped it, you had to do what the fucking little piece of paper said.
Oh.
And so, like, it was like, chug a beer, take a shot, go pick up 10 pieces of garbage, take the trash out. But yeah, it was fun. Like, the beginning of the night, everybody be trying to avoid the balloons, and like halfway through the night, people are picking them up and like popping them on each other. Like, you gotta take a shot, fucker.
And then you gotta take out the garbage. That's a genius idea. I'm gonna save that one for summerween.
Summerween 2025.
Hashtag summerween.
Yeah. We could probably do it at the White House, though, next year.
No.
Just on the front lawn of the White House.
Dude. I mean, when we're running the show, nobody says we can't.
Yeah.
Who's gonna tell them no? I'm the fucking president.
We could probably run on that as the campaign, Summerween, with people that love Halloween. How many? Probably half the population love Halloween.
They'd vote for you just on that principle alone.
We get 2 Halloweens this year? It could be every year.
And it'd be great because Nancy Pelosi could come as herself. She already looks like a fucking skeleton.
Fucking pretty scary. It's a zombie! Oh, hey.
Secret Service just plop, 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 plop. Oh, shit. I thought that was a real zombie. I dig it. Let me open my questions here. before I forget.
No, I'm telling you, man, we're having just these brainstorm sessions of great ideas.
It's a good thing nobody listens, so they can't steal them.
Yeah, at least we have them on record, so we can go back and be like, we do have some good ideas.
Yeah. All the, 9, 10, 11 people listening, don't steal these. They're trademarked.
Trademark, copyright.
So, what's your go-to Halloween movie?
Now, I love Paranorman. It's not an old movie, but it's a great movie. So we usually watch that. I don't know, we used to watch Hocus Pocus with the kids when they were littler, but now they just think it's kind of dumb. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is a good one.
Admittedly, I wanted to love that movie so much because, growing up with the books and shit and actually telling those stories in the dark and all that, it's such an ingrained part of my childhood that it's oh my god, they're going to make a movie about it. And then you watch the movie and you're like, it works, but it doesn't work for me.
Yeah. So we went to see that, and when it first came out, we went and saw it in the theaters. And my kids have watched the Conjuring movies and the scary movies. And I took them to go see that, and they were terrified of that movie.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, why are you scared of that movie? It's like Goosebumps. It's the exact same story as Goosebumps.
Pretty much. But the spiders one for sure.
Yeah. But just the whole, the stories inside the book are coming true, and, the whole premise of the movie is along the lines of the Goosebumps tales. Which I like those movies too. I mean, they're really kids' movies, but I'm a big kid.
Same.
Big old fat kid that just is able to drive and
big old alcoholic kid for me.
Drink alcoholic beverages. What about you?
Honestly, I got to say Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
My daughter
Did you like the second one?
I didn't watch the entirety of the movie. I think I've seen 70% of it. It's another one of those, why are we trying to make a sequel 30 years later?
Yeah.
20 years ago would have been cool, but whatever. Yeah, no, I think that movie just encapsulates the whole Halloween spirit and everything. So even though it's kind of not my cup of tea, I enjoy watching it with her because she still enjoys it. And,
yeah.
And I go, this is just a good Halloween movie. It's not a horror movie, it's a Halloween movie.
Right.
Kind of in a way that Home Alone is a Christmas movie.
Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah. Which I can't remember if it's actually taking place on Halloween in the movie. But yeah, that's when we usually always pull out for around this time. Of course, my kids, like I said, they like all the scary movies, so they want to watch The Nun and Annabelle and and Smile and all these newer.
Did you watch The Nun 2?
Yeah.
Did you also think it was a piece of shit?
Yeah.
It was okay. I'll give it that. It was okay, but the whole thing was predictable.
I think it was a lot less stupid than the first one.
You ain't wrong.
There was so many lines that just took me out of that movie. Like when he's like, what does she say? Holy shit. And he's like, the holiest thing. He's got the vial of blood. So we're in the theaters watching that movie, and I just fucking died laughing. People were turning around looking at me like, the fuck is wrong with you?
It's the cringy shit.
Yeah. But yeah, there was a few different lines in that movie that was just like, are they trying to make a joke? Is this are they trying to be funny?
Yeah.
Because it was just it was just a departure from the rest of the Conjuring movie, like series movies, where they're serious, supposedly serious movies.
They were trying.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some moments in the original movie, The Nun, that kind of worked, but then it's like most of it was just like typical horror movie tropes.
Yeah.
And that gets old so fast because you've seen all that shit a million times. And I get that it's hard to come up with new ideas, but that doesn't mean you're forced to recycle old ideas that are outplayed. And like even with the Conjuring movies, where I think the first one was great, and the second one was good, but then that third one, The Devil Made Me Do It, is just like, this movie's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're making another one.
So which one is the one that the nun first appears in? Because she, like, the demon Valak or whatever.
It's in the first one.
Is it the first?
Yeah, it like chases their daughter.
Yeah.
And then in the second one is it shows that the nun shows up at the end where Ed was about to get like impaled on a tree or something that. Yeah, that
so I felt
storyline
like,
just got drug out.
Yeah, I felt like the nun character appearing in those movies was a lot scarier than the nun movie itself.
Agreed.
Yeah, there was moments of like where he's painting the painting of the nun, and then like she starts seeing the shadows around the house, and then I think those effects and that whole premise was a lot scarier than the actual movie. So.
Definitely the effects too.
Yeah.
Because there was like a moment where she looked over at the painting and looked away and looked back, and Valak kind of walked away from the painting.
Yeah.
We're like, oh wow, that was actually really well done.
Yeah.
Too bad most of this movie sucks. I think it played better because it was more of a tertiary villain.
Right.
Whereas in the first one it was Lady Mazbeth or whatever. I can't remember the name, but the whole story's made up anyway. Doesn't matter. The lady was real, but she wasn't like this witch who sacrificed her child and blah blah blah. She was just like a normal woman.
Yeah.
And then in the second one, the spirit in the house was the old man who died there.
Right.
But the nun character was like tertiary to that. So it's like fighting two demons at the same time.
The demon was holding the spirit of that old man hostage and torturing him and making him do certain things. Yeah.
Yeah. One of my go-to Halloween movies still to this day is Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula.
Yeah.
The one with Keanu Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say this because everybody adores Keanu Reeves, including me, but that's his worst movie. But that's Gary Oldman's best.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I'm looking for the Count of Transylvania. Might as well say bro at the end.
Yeah, his accent is horrific in that movie. But yeah, is it because Gary Oldman is so good that it just makes Keanu look like shit in that movie? Or...
No, it's the accent.
Yeah. Fair enough.
No, there's other moments where he's acting in that movie and you go, okay, that's good acting. But the accent is just atrocious.
Yeah.
And every time he's on the screen, it throws me out of the movie. But then Gary Oldman's like, come here, come hither. And I'm like, I got you.
So yeah, I like that movie. Vampires, I would say my favorite vampire movie is probably 30 Days of Night. I do like the Interview with the Vampire movie, but I think 30 Days of Night is way scarier.
I agree. In terms of scary vampire movies, that's number one.
Yeah.
Because those vampires were horrific.
Yeah.
Like they were just demonic in nature and terrible. Plus, you couldn't escape them. Like it's a month of nighttime, and they could go anywhere. They didn't have to sleep. All they wanted to do was feed.
Yeah.
So that movie, it was actually still. I only watch it once in a while because it's like so well made that I don't want to water it down.
Yeah.
Best vampire movie though, in my opinion, is Blade.
Yeah. I guess Blade is a vampire movie through and through, and I think that's such a cool premise, though, too, because he's got the powers of a vampire, like his strength and his abilities, but he uses them to fight vampires, which is just, like, really cool premise. What about, so we've listed off, like, some of the classic horror movie monsters. I guess Frankenstein, Frankenstein the movie was based off of the book. Mary Shelley's novel. It was written in like 1818, 1818, and the movie was made in 1931. But the story that she wrote was actually based off of an actual German doctor in like the 1400s that was doing these experiments on cadavers and was injecting people with like this elixir that was like mixed with like bodily fluids and bone marrow and shit like that, and saying that he had like this elixir of life and vitality that would keep you alive forever, which I think is super scary thing for a movie in itself. You don't need to have the fucking
You're getting
monster.
injected with bone marrow and some dude's jizz.
Yeah. Just some random fucking corpse jizz.
With a little bit of amniotic fluid in there. Like, I read most of the original book. I never did finish it. Which is always the silliest thing, right? I read like 2/3 of this book, put it down, and never picked it back up.
Yeah, I've seen the movie.
Yeah, I've seen the movie. I saw the one where De Niro was Frankenstein, okay? It counts. I did think that was like one of the coolest details in the movie, and in the book as well, where he was collecting amniotic fluid from pregnant mothers who were about to give birth, and birthed Frankenstein in a chamber filled with it. Like, makes total sense.
Yeah.
From a, I guess, scientific standpoint, I always thought, oh, that's a cool little detail, you know.
So, like we've talked about Dracula, is there a specific Frankenstein movie that you think is your favorite?
I would have to go with that one where De Niro was Frankenstein. I mean, I think about other iterations of it where you have the movie Van Helsing, where Frankenstein was kind of this weird steampunk thing, or what was that movie with James McAvoy and Daniel Radcliffe? Frankenstein. I think it's called Frankenstein, where you never get like a full picture of him, but he's just this big hulking monster.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't count. That's more of the story about Frankenstein and Igor. And then, what was it? Oh, I, Frankenstein.
I, Frankenstein.
Which was kind of a fun but slightly derpy movie. It's a just like shut your brain off and entertain yourself.
Yeah.
But it never had a sense of fear or anything like that.
Yeah.
Versus like the one with Kenneth Branagh and De Niro, actually, you were kind of afraid of him.
Yeah.
Because he was big and strong, and he had humanity, but he didn't know how to embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was just angry at the world.
Yeah. I would say that my favorite, although it's not a horror movie, is Young Frankenstein.
I didn't even take that into account. Rollin' the hay.
That's another one where it, like, randomly would just pop up, like, sayings from the movie, and then people don't even get what I'm talking about. Like,
Yeah.
okay, never mind.
Did you ever see, there was like a made-for-TV movie in the early 90s about Frankenstein, where these two, I think they were high school kids, made Frankenstein, and they thought he was just this big, dumb, hulking idiot, and then at the end, you find out he's fully capable of complex speech, and he's really intelligent, and he can speak like 10 languages and all this, and like, where the fuck did he learn that? I remember,
I don't know.
it was like a thing me and my sisters used to watch like every time it came on, even though it's the dumbest movie.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find it later and see if it's somewhere abound to watch.
I'll give that a watch. So I know I've seen Creature from the Black Lagoon, but maybe I haven't. Maybe I'm just like thinking of clips from just seeing clips of the movie. Just him coming out of the water. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
I went on a tear with those classic Universal monster movies a long time ago, and I watched like all of them. And it's one of those movies that if you saw it at the time, it was probably amazing, but now you watch it and you're like, cool.
Isn't it like Adventure? They get lost in the Amazon or something like that.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Find this creature that is the creature from the Black Lagoon. Wolfman. I think that the real life stories about the Wolfman are more scary than the actual thinking. I mean, if there was actually a Wolfman, that would be really scary.
Oh yeah.
But like most of these movie monsters are based off of real people or real events, and the Wolfman isn't an exception to that. There was several people that were deemed to be Wolfmen put to death in like the 13th, 14th centuries in France and in Europe, across Europe. But looking back on the stories, what it turns out was these people were actually serial killers.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would grab them and torture them, and then they would admit to being a Wolfman, and that's why they tore these people apart and like killed several people because they were afflicted by this thing that made them turn into an animal once a month or whatever.
Yeah.
And again, I think that's more scary than the actual movies of seeing somebody turn into a wolf.
Have you ever seen the movie Brotherhood of the Wolf?
Sounds familiar.
It's been a long time since I saw it, so I don't know the whole premise, but allegedly there was like a werewolf loose in France around the 14th century, and these men were brought in to try to track it down and kill it. Come to find out, it was like the society that was capturing tigers and dressing their body up in like a costume to look like a wolf to set out on their enemies. And it would kill their enemies, and they, call the tiger back.
Is it kind of a recent movie? Well,
It
maybe
was like
10 or 15 years ago?
Yeah, like mid-2000s.
I think I have seen that, yeah.
Yeah. I always kind of put that in that same realm when you hear those, Wolfman stories from France, hundreds of years ago,
Mm-hmm.
because it would make total sense. Or even in like the movie The Village, where they're like, if you go out after dark, these monsters get you, but it's just like the elders of the village keeping the secret, so they dress as these monsters.
Porcupines or something?
They were
they were
fucking
supposed to be
silly looking. They were like the alien robot things from Fifth Element, with pokey shit out of their back and hair, and it was weird. Cool premise for a movie.
Yeah. Silver Bullet. That was a
Oh
good
my god.
werewolf movie.
Forgot about that.
Maybe you just he had a fucking dope ass wheelchair. Like a hot rod wheelchair.
Right?
Surprised they don't give those to us at work so we can just like cruise around the other.
That's exactly why they don't give them to us.
True. Moving on.
American Werewolf in London.
American Werewolf in London. That transformation scene was
Iconic.
ahead of its time, really.
Yeah, it still hasn't even caught up to the time. I mean, puppeteering and animatronics have come a long way, but that was still, holy shit, amazing.
Yeah.
And I watched the Joe Rogan episode with Rick Baker. I think that's his name. Rick Baker, who did that. And even gave him like the puppet of the dog or the werewolf. So it's like in Joe Rogan's lobby now.
Really?
And he talks about it and how they kind of did it, some of the stuff. And you watch the behind the scenes on it, you're like, fuck, that is genius. And some of the scenes are actually shot in reverse.
Oh.
Of like, instead of the snout coming out, you're actually,
Pulling
there's a
it
guy pulling it back in. Oh, what a crazy, amazing fucking effect in a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I love those like actual effects too. Like, I mean, me and my brothers and cousins, that's like one of the things that we would do when we were kids. We would, like, on the weekends, we just like come up with the, like, okay, let's do this movie, and then do like a remake of like The Wizard of Oz or something.
Mm-hmm.
We just like see something that reminds us of something in a movie, and then like do a short video of like that scene in the movie where there's whatever that we're looking at that has to do with the movie. But we would make kung fu movies and then like overdub them and shit like that, and then we would we did like a Steve Irwin series. Like, we dressed my younger brother up like a peacock. Because my mom had, like, for some reason she had like all these peacock feathers, and so we made my youngest brother wear this just underwear, and we stuffed all these peacock feathers in his underwear. He was like 9 or 10 maybe. And so it was like Steve Irwin peacock hunter or something like that. But yeah, we would do that shit all the time and just make like the dumbest practical effects, but they actually ended up looking good on the video. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what we're doing on the video. So I just have a deep appreciation for actual effects, like not just CGI shit.
I agree, and it still shows with classic movies. You think about the Gremlins movies, where it's all puppets and they're all actually interacting with real life objects. If you did that now and it was all CGI, you'd be like, this movie's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
But back in that time when those movies came out, you're like, this is amazing.
Yeah, we just recently watched Critters the other day.
Oh,
like,
classic.
Maybe like a month ago.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah. So dumb. Movie's so dumb. So dumb that everybody should just go home and watch it right now.
I mean, have a couple drinks first. You'll enjoy it more.
So I was thinking, I was like, man, that would be a good movie they could remake. I mean, the story's dumb enough that they could change it to whatever the fuck they want. But then I was like, well, there's a movie called Attack the Block. Have you ever seen that?
I know of it. I haven't watched it.
Very similar to the Critters story. You'd probably really like it, actually.
Yeah.
I think it was made by a lot of the people that made like Shaun of the Dead, and Nick Frost is actually in the movie.
How old is it?
I think it was probably 2010 maybe.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like a group of teenage kids in kind of like, it's supposed to be like project housing type houses in London.
Mm-hmm.
The meteor hits, and then like these creatures come out and start attacking people in the neighborhood, and so they're fighting these little alien creatures. It's pretty good though. You'd probably like it.
You know, a movie I think they should redo. There was a movie from the 80s. It's called The Gate.
Oh, yeah.
If they could redo that now with slightly better child actors, like, I bet that'd be terrifying.
Yeah. That would be a good one. I remember all these old horror movies, mostly from like the cover art on the VHS tape.
Same.
And you'd go to like the video store.
Yeah.
And you'd see like all the horror movies, and it's like The Gate with like spelled The Gate, and it's like cut out of wood.
Yeah.
And then just like eyes and a little hand coming through.
Yep.
Ghoulies, that little monster in the toilet.
Fucking funny you say that, because the other day I watched a video on Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
And I could vividly remember going to the video store and always seeing the poster for that up there, like for years. And the guy who ran the video store must have just loved that movie. But I remember looking at the cover going, I'm not sure what to make of this movie. Like, is it scary? Is it cool? Like,
is it a romance?
yeah. And then I actually saw the movie at like, I don't know, 15 years old, 16 or something like that. And I just adored it because it was so fucking funny.
Yeah.
And I kind of think that it was like, it was supposed to be that way because watching it at that age, I caught it. I understood it.
Yeah.
But if I had watched it when it came out in, 92 or whatever, when I was 7, I probably would have been like, this movie's fucking stupid.
What are we watching? Why are we giving him sugar, baby? I don't...
Give me some sugar, baby.
So yeah, I remember seeing that video case and the Evil Dead 2 video cover where it's just like a skeleton, like a skull with human, like, actual eyes.
Yeah, it's Bruce Campbell's eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's another thing that's just like people nowadays don't really get that. Like,
yeah,
kids nowadays don't get the. I guess it was just a tactic to get you to rent the movie, but like, it lives in my mind of one of those things that holds nostalgia for me, I guess.
I agree.
Another classic 80s movie that would be pretty cool if they remade it.
Hold on, I think I'm reading your thought. Go ahead.
What do you think?
No, go ahead.
Monster Squad?
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
Kick him in the wolf dork!
I remember trying to watch it like a year ago. I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. But one of the first lines in the movie was the school bully calling the main character a faggot.
Oh yeah.
And it was like,
yeah,
that was a different time.
That was a different time.
I could say that because I'm quoting a movie.
Quoting a movie.
But yeah,
it's in the movie.
I watched that and I was like, holy shit, you could not do that now.
No, I don't even know if my kids have seen that movie. I've actually tried to get it several times on Amazon, but they never had it. So I was like telling them, oh, you need to watch this movie. But it's, one of those that's like, it's a kid's movie. It's like Goonies horror style.
Yeah.
It has all the classic monsters. The Mummy, Creature from the Black Lagoon.
But Frankenstein was a good guy.
Frankenstein is a sweetheart.
I always remember that scene at the end where the main character kid has takes a piece off of the fence or whatever and stabs Dracula in the heart and they're being like sucked into the portal or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's gangster.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really good movie. If you guys haven't seen that, I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
I hope you don't mind the F word. Not fuck, the other one.
Yeah.
Because it said more than once.
Yeah.
Different
times.
Way different times. So what's your least favorite part about Halloween?
Now, maybe having to work.
Fair point.
I don't know. There's nothing really that I dislike about Halloween. In general, I like the scariness, the spooky feeling, like I said, the weather, the one thing that always gets me every year that's just okay, it's Halloween, is when you carve a pumpkin and you stick the candle in the pumpkin and light it and you have that, it's like the insides of the pumpkin is getting cooked by the candle.
And you have that waft, yeah.
That's okay, that's Halloween.
Yeah.
Now it's Halloween. But yeah, so I always try to do jack-o'-lanterns and burn actual candles in them just so I get that little tickle on my pee-pee, I guess, of Halloween feeling.
Yeah, I think my least favorite part is that it's only a month.
Yeah. Well, we can change that.
I
Sounds
mean,
like we're on the road to
Summerween, dude.
Summerween at the White
Hashtag
House.
Summerween. Yeah, at the White House. We're going to have all kinds of crazy shit. Instead of decorations, we're going to hang all the politicians for treason. All the evil ones. Look at that!
Do they have many trees there? I guess we can plant trees. We can plant trees.
Yeah, it's fine. I really feel like... What do we have in September for holidays?
Memorial Day? Labor Day, I mean?
Yeah, that doesn't matter because we still have to work.
Yeah, it's a day for people that work, but you gotta work.
It's a day for people who work banker's hours to have a free day off, but the rest of us have to keep going.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, somebody still has to put your fries in the bag, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should just cancel that and extend Halloween.
Halloween 1 and 2. Which one? Maybe Halloween 0.5, and then actual Halloween.
I think so.
Yeah.
We got to vary it up what their purpose is. Like Halloween itself is for wearing costumes and candy, but 0.5 has to be something else. I'm sure we'll come up with something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think going back to what we were talking about earlier is how consumerist it's become.
Yeah.
It kind of takes away a little bit of the charm.
Yeah. Yeah, if I was going to say something, yeah, I guess that does kind of... Like I said, I went to the store to buy the costumes, and so we ended up... We walked around Spirit Halloween for a little while, and I was just like, this is dumb, dude, let's go to Savers.
Yeah.
And so we went to Savers, and then Izzy ended up getting everything that she wanted for her costume there for like... It was like $20, but she got like a jacket, a shirt, like jewelry and stuff. She's gonna be a pirate, and so she got everything that she wanted to put to her costume together, which I think is gonna work out really well.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's probably gonna look 10 times better than the stupid pirate costumes they had there for like $55, $60.
Yeah, and it's like a onesie.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's dumb. Yeah. I lucked out this year because my daughter wants to be Coraline. So I'm like, cool, I can basically Amazon the whole outfit, and it'll probably cost me $50 or $60, but it's like, hey, you could wear all that stuff at any time.
Yeah.
Need a raincoat? Boom. It's already there.
That's another one, I guess we always usually... Well, that's one of Izzy's favorite movies, and so we watch that quite a bit. That's a great movie. And I think maybe that's why I really like Paranorman, is because it's kind of in that same style, claymation style, but it's actually Halloween, based on Halloween. Yeah. But yeah, the consumerism is just kind of a turn off, I guess.
So it's like one of your favorite Halloween traditions?
Now?
Yeah, well, at any time.
Well, when I was younger, my favorite Halloween tradition was going around and getting candy from people. Now it's... So I just, like I said, I'm the one that sits on the porch and hands out candy and chops it up with the little kids that come up, you know. And
you chop up little kids?
Yeah. Try to be nice to them so they're not scared of me when they come up and get candy. But yeah, now my Halloween tradition is just sip on beers and talk to little kids. That sounds super creepy.
Travis would be proud.
Yeah. My man. Hey.
I dig it. Yeah, one of mine was, aside from trick-or-treating as a kid, was, we'd all dress in our costumes or whatever, and we would take the kids over to the east side to, like, the same neighborhood every year. And they would, most of them would just hand out candy, but there was a few of them that would do like funnel cakes one year, or hot dogs another year, or hot chocolate or whatever. And it was kind of cool because it was a very community thing. And then to add to that, I would always make this like apple cider. It was like half cider, half Honey Crisp with some seasoning, and mix it with some Jack Daniel's Winter Jack for all the adults, you know. But I wouldn't mix it, obviously, so the kids could have cider, but everybody else got adult cider. And it was, you know, nice. You get everybody together and everybody's bullshitting and hanging out while the kids are doing their thing. And
Yeah.
it was really fun. It was cool. Especially the year we did the Beetlejuice costumes, where everybody was like, "Where did you buy that mask?" Like, how'd you make it?
Well, I've got these talents, you see, that I have acquired over a long career. Yeah, that's cool. We used to do very similar thing, like before COVID. Like I said, my family we'd all get together and go to one person's house and then like have a Halloween party kind of for all the adults, and then like the kids would just go all trick-or-treating in one big gang of kids, and maybe one or two adults, parents would go with them. But when COVID hit, it kind of stopped that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we would do like hot dogs. My mom actually would sell funnel cakes at the fairs and shit. She had a food booth, and she would make funnel cakes. So she brought all her shit there, and we would make funnel cakes for all the people that came through. We'd give them candy, and if they wanted a funnel cake, funnel cakes.
Nice.
Yeah, now I just hand out beer to the adults.
That's the way to be. Adults love beer.
Yeah. Well, our neighborhood, like, there's quite a few houses that do, like, they'll have, like, hot dogs and, like, chili dogs and, like, hot chocolate and scones and shit like that. There's quite a few houses, and then, like, there's so many people out here that give out full-size candy bars. It's crazy.
Dude, when I was a kid, so I lived in California until I was, like, 15. And so when we lived in San Pedro, it's kind of like a normal, I guess, middle to lower class gentrified area. But if you went, you know, up the hill a little bit, you went into like the Palos Verdes range, where it's a little more higher class, I guess. And so me and my friend, for like 3 years straight, we would go up into that neighborhood to trick or treat. And it's a hike to get there, you know, it's miles away from where we lived. But almost every house would hand out full-size candy bars.
Yeah.
You go over there and get a king-size Snicker, and you're like...
Go around the corner, take off your mask, and come back.
You just switch masks.
Trick or treat, not me. Last year we had I was handing out candy, and this couple came up, and they were probably like late 60s. And I think they were like Guatemalan or something. They didn't speak any English, but they were just like so excited. They had bags. Like, I don't think they knew what the fuck was going on. Just people were handing them candy like everywhere they went. So they came up and they're like just smiling. And so I like was throwing handfuls of candy in their bags.
That's awesome.
And they turned around to leave. I was like, "Hey!" And he turned around. I was like, "You want a beer?" And he's like, "Yes, yes." Grabbed the beer. I was like, "Okay, happy Halloween."
I like that.
Yeah, but it was just cool. Like, most likely, like their first time ever experiencing Halloween, they didn't really. I don't think they really understood what was happening, but like they were all about it. It was funny.
I like that. What about like teenage kids who don't dress up and come up and get candy?
You know, I'd rather them coming up to the house and getting candy than like fucking with my house afterwards.
Yeah, I'd rather they do that than bag snatch some other little kid.
Yeah, or like go out and like cause trouble.
Yeah.
But come on, man, dress up.
Paint your face at least.
Yeah.
All you got to do is put like a red stripe, be like I'm a zombie.
Yeah, I'm a ninja.
Not as like cool as Mr. T, but okay.
Yeah, I pity you fools that don't know the fucking how to dress up.
Right?
But yeah, I don't mind them. I don't mind the teenagers.
I don't either. Everybody wants free candy.
Yeah.
But yeah, just put just a little bit of effort into it. That's all.
Just a tiny bit. Like, yeah, I mean, wear your football or your baseball jersey, cleats, anything.
Yeah, something. All right, one final question. If you could go anywhere for Halloween, where would you go? I'm willing my answer to you. Let's see if you get it.
The White House on July 4th. Summerween, baby.
Print it.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
I was trying to will you my answer.
What's your answer?
Salem.
Ooh.
Because I'm curious of what their culture is around that time. Given their history and
Right.
like the movie Hocus Pocus and shit
Right.
like that. Like how do they play Halloween versus how we do it?
Yeah.
Just to see the cultural difference would be really interesting.
Yeah.
And apart from that, would be probably somewhere in Mexico to see how they do El Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah.
Because I've always found that fascinating.
Yeah, it is. And I've seen, looking into like the voodoo one that we did, the New Orleans episode that we did. I was looking at a lot of like Santeria stuff, and then Day of the Dead stuff came up, and it was just like videos like documenting the Day of the Dead celebrations there, and it's almost like a 4th of July celebration type celebration, as opposed to like kids just dressing up as ghosts and goblins and getting candy. It's a actual celebration of their dead loved ones, and they really party like.
Yeah, because it doubles too, because they're celebrating the dead, but they wear the masks and everything to ward off evil spirits.
Mm-hmm.
So it's ingrained culturally differently than us.
Well, looking into the history of Halloween for the episode, that was one of the things that. So originally it was a Celtic holiday called Samhain. I think that's how you pronounce it. And
I don't know. Celtic is weird with with the way they pronounce consonants.
It's
because of
Samhein, but it's pronounced Samhain.
Yeah.
So.
Or have you ever seen the name Saoirse? How they spell that?
Yeah.
Saorise or whatever.
That's you're fucking wrong, dude.
Yeah.
That's way wrong. But their celebration was marking the end of summer and the beginning of winter. And it was actually their New Year's. They considered that the New Year's. And it was right in between the summer and winter solstice. And so they celebrated and it was like marking the harvest, so they would harvest all the food for the coming winter, and they would like slaughter animals and get all the meat prepared for the winter time, stock up the food, and then have huge bonfires to like cook and prepare the food. And like part of having the bonfires was to symbolize the sun, and the sun is going to be gone for a little while. But it was also a time that they believed that the spiritual realm and the physical realm were really, the veil was kind of thin, so it was like entities from the other side could loosely travel back and forth between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. So they would wear these masks and dress up so that the spirits wouldn't know it's them, so they couldn't be tormented by the spirits. And so part of the celebration was the people would go around house to house, and they would sing this song to each, like they'd go to a house, sing the song, and the person in the house would open it up the door and give them a cake, They were called soul cakes.
Mm-hmm.
And so they would give them the soul cakes, or they would give them like stuff to burn on the fire. And
It's
so,
funny
like,
that a bunch of ginger people are handing out soul cakes.
yeah. Maybe that's where all the souls went, I guess. So that's where trick-or-treating comes from, was the tradition of like going and collecting all the things that they want to prepare for the coming winter.
Mm.
And then when the Catholic Church went that way, moved into that territory, they kind of, instead of just like taking away the holiday, they just incorporated it and gave it a twist of like, now it was like a Catholic celebrated holiday, but it's November 1st is All Saints Day.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like the celebration leading up to All Saints Day instead of like the celebration of Samhain.
Special note about All Saints Day. That's my mom's birthday.
Really?
Shout out, Mom.
Happy birthday.
Soon.
Well, yeah. Happy birthday, November 1st.
Yeah. November's a difficult month for birthdays in my family because my mom is November 1st. My dad is the 10th. My son is the 14th. And one of my nieces is in November too.
Lots of stuff happening around February, huh?
Yeah, they're all Valentine's babies.
Well, congratulations.
Well, let me see. So, both my parents' birthdays are in November, and I was born in July. October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July.
Happy birthday.
Fuck, I just figured it out.
Happy birthday to you. What'd you get me for a birthday? Oh, you'll find out.
You'll see here. Less than a year. There's a gestation period. So do you believe that October is actually a time where the veil is thin?
I don't know. It feels that way. But I think it has an ominous feel just because it starts getting darker and it starts getting colder. So there's change in the atmosphere and it just feels a little bit different. To me, it feels like an exciting part of the year. Maybe it's just because I have a love of the fall time. But yeah, I don't know about. I mean, we went to the grist mill a week and a half ago, and wasn't very thin over there.
It was, but it wasn't. More so for me, it's thin.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll speak for myself on this side of the table.
I think it's just a special time of the year because it really is kind of the month that is in between of summertime and wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that Celtic approach where it's like that's considered the end of the year, where you're ending the year on a high note, the end of summer, versus we end the year in the cold and we start in the fucking cold too. So, I don't know. Nobody's got it right, nobody's got it wrong, but I like that better.
That's like the coldest time of the year. We do it. Fuck. Dumb.
Yeah. It's so ridiculous.
Let's go party for New Year's. I'll be right here in my house where it's warm and I don't have to wear 10 layers. I'm good.
Yeah, it's bad when you have to predicate if you're going to go to a New Year's Eve party based on the 10-day forecast.
Yeah.
If you're like, 60% chance of snow, not going to make it.
I'll watch it on TV.
Yeah, maybe if you lived across the street, it'd be different.
I got liquor at my house.
Yeah, right? I'm probably working anyway.
Yeah.
I get more money that way.
We probably are, unfortunately.
I think so. I think we're working all the holidays this year, and I think next year we're half and half, but the year after that we're off for all of them.
Scheduled off.
Yeah. We know how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Halloween time. I love the whole month of October.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like is that you have to wear a hoodie in the morning, but not during the day. But then you got to put one on before you leave work.
Mm-hmm.
Not a fan.
Yeah. I mean, I love hoodies. I love jackets. I don't know if you noticed that coat rack upstairs is just like 50 jackets hung up on top of it because there's too many coats.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
Because I have 2 sections in my closet are actually used for clothes. And it's kind of like in a quadrant, right? So I have one section that's all jackets and coats. And then one section that's all button-up shirts and hoodies. And then I have shoes and then all my other shit in the other one. So yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah. So
I see a nice jacket and I'm just like, I have to have that.
Yeah. Ooh. Color is that? Yeah, I'm bad. Just dumb, and then, yeah, there's like half of them I've never even worn. Stupid.
There's something about a nice jacket, though. That you put it on and you just feel better about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah. I get disappointed when it's too warm to wear a hoodie.
I get disappointed when I put one on in the morning and I'm like, oh, it's cozy, you know? It's like still being in your bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then by 8:30, oh, it's too fucking hot.
Yeah.
That's why I got this one. It's nice and thin.
Yeah, I've got a few, like, just long sleeve shirts that are hoods.
Well, and it's great, too, when you're at work and you're leaning back in one of the chairs to try to take a snoozer and you can just, like, curl up your hood. It's like a little pillow.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Or you just roll it all the way over the top of your...
Snoozer time.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm glad we talked about this one.
So am I. I mean, yeah, it was a good... I mean, so many people love Halloween. Very rarely do you actually, like, sit and think about why you like Halloween. It's like, well, it's a holiday.
It's the spirit of it.
It's just like Christmas, but a way better...
Yeah, I mean...
I don't know, I like Halloween better than Christmas.
I gotta be honest, I don't like Christmas anymore.
Yeah.
But I still love Halloween.
Yeah, I like to give my kids presents on Christmas, but that's expensive.
Yeah, I think we should go back to the olden days where you got one.
Yeah. Here's your present.
It's a bag of oranges.
Yeah. It's your old shoes. Yeah, you're going to fit into them one day.
I cleaned them.
It's a wooden horse. I whittled that myself.
I whittled it with a knife.
Took me 9 months. You're welcome.
But your sibling, though, only got a bag of oranges. You guys have to share both.
Oh, yeah. Halloween's great.
It
if
is
you don't
great.
like it, you're weird.
Yeah. Let's close off with summerween again. #summerween.
#summerween.
Let's make it a normal thing. Everybody loves 4th of July, right? We all love fireworks and barbecues.
Just think of 4th of July dressed up for Halloween.
What about the 3rd of July?
Dude, you go summerween into the 4th, forget about it.
Right? We just changed the world.
Dude, Brown Johnson for president.
2024, baby. November 4th.
The election's coming up.
Write that shit
Just
in.
write it in.
That said, okay, I love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.